Hey guys, some Game Edit here. I'm really sorry I didn't get to the second ruler theory video. Jordan not doing the stream that week put me back, and then I got real life get in the way, and by the time it was Friday, the spoilers, and well, this is late too. I'm doing both videos on one day. So not only has the spoiler gone up, we've also seen now high-res pictures of the starter decks, confirming 4 out of 5 of my theories. Though we actually know now that Mercurius is not a human Thulu. On that subject, given her name it comes from Mercury, one of the planets and one of the Roman gods, and that she is a 7 luminary. We have that confirmed now. This script was written before I found we had the high-res images. I think we could theorize what the rest of the names are. Given that it's Latin, not English, and 7 of the 9 planets in our solar system have Roman names, the remaining 2 being Earth with Middle English and Uranus from Greek, I believe we're looking at Venus, Mars, Jupiter, or Jove, as it goes by both, Saturnus, Neptunus, and Pluton. Also, some little tidbits. Seems like the out-of-place monkey with the headband in the trailer is probably Sun Wukong, as Mario from the Italian side of things has name-dropped Journey to the West. And he also name-dropped Dracula, something about defenseless lambs. This is our second instance of Dracula referenced or called out. I don't know if Jordan's lying or not about ally of the Black Moon being Dracula, not being Dracula, being some sort of Japanese businessman thing instead, but it's starting to lean that Dracula's in here in some capacity. They've also shown 2 mats. One is all the rulers from the starter decks, the other is very likely all the rulers from the set. At least 3 of them are. This would mean that Zero, as we know, Zero has 2 arts. The one on the being the one that is very likely her J ruler form. The one from the trailer is very likely her ruler form. I think we can summarize that given that we know Charlotte's water now, I think we can summarize that Zero is light, Sun Wukong is wind. He has a green gem on his waist. The gems on the clothing usually are magic stones indicating attribute. And our new darkness guy is Yog-Sothoth. And I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. Now the reason he's Yog-Sothoth is because he has a silver key. Yog-Sothoth is associated with a story about silver keys, and this guy also has tentacles, which Yog-Sothoth already has in his previous art. We also know that the red-headed guy, which also might be a young Allosaurus at this rate, is the fire ruler. So anyway, enough of this. I guess we should look at Friday's spoilers. Charlotte the determined girl and Charlotte the mage of sacred wind. Well, I guess we should actually talk about Energize first, which will be a thing going from the Lapis cluster onwards. It's the coin from Hearthstone, an extra disposable rule of this color of your ruler for going second. It's meant for making the first turn advantage that all turn-based games have null and void, which is an admirable thing to do. I think it does close the gap a little bit. However, all turn-based games have this, even chess, and even Hearthstone's own data has shown it is still somewhat of an issue. The data isn't conclusive due to it only being one aspect of the game, but I think we can summarize that its first turn advantage is very slim, but it's still there. One thing that bothers me is it's a printed skill on this card, not a new game mechanic per se. It's not something that's just done. It's got to be printed on the card, meaning that it's not retroactive to the older rulers, meaning that most of the old rulers aren't going to be touched anymore. Jordan said that he expected no one to play the Alice cluster rulers once Lapis cluster started. I think we see why, and I'm already going, yeah, probably. You want that disadvantage closed. So that bothers me a bit. There's a few things that bother me a bit about the whole water spoilers, but we'll get to things over time. Charlotte judgments for water 1, which honestly feels a bit low. I guess making it a hard water like Valentina isn't the biggest deal in the grand scheme of things, but it doesn't really matter that much. It still requires a water, and yeah, it's probably making a mountain of a molehill at being U1. However, like Valentina, she also has another effect that doesn't require her to tap, which means it's very useful, or at least in theory is useful. Her ability is, for you and a pitch, she can tap something. Now, that too irks me. Cards that operate from the discard, be they Remnant, Necromancy of the Dark Lord, those type of things, are very popular right now and are proven, especially in blue-black. So they're giving a deck that has already proven itself a ruler that works organically with it. Alright then. And the skill isn't crap either. It holds down issues or moves them out of the way. They have an attacker and move to the battle phase. Priority is passed before attacker is chosen. You want to get through those blockers? Time to pitch some cards to get anything nasty down before you attack. Don't have precision/target attack and want something that's currently restored dead? Fair game now. It's a very useful skill going into very useful cards. So we move on to the J-Roller, and I'm just going to say this, and this is also relevant for the next one as well. Thank God Black Moonbeam exists. I know everyone bitches about it going, oh, it makes J-Rollers unplayable, but if J-Rollers are going to get stronger, which they seemingly are, it should happen, and I want to see them perishable a lot less. This level of punishment needs to exist. Well, not punishment, but control, because things do get out of hand. So, she can't be attacked. Yeah, imperishable, she has nearly half of it anyway. And she's 414, which means she's proverbial wall that can't be attacked and is hard to get through. The only way to get through her is final 4 feet to remove all her skills and then just slam things into her until she dies. That's can be annoying. Regardless, I kind of expect her to flip to get other abilities, and because she can't be attacked and she's 414, it's going to be hard for anything to get through her. Even if they can attack her, she's just going to keep tapping to produce will. Her first skill is an on-flip skill that draws cards until you have 5 cards in hand. Really nice in black-blue with a heavy black focus, as black does lose hand due to being 1-for-1 type skills most of the time. Blue already draws a lot of cards, so I'm not sure it's helping there just yet. Even with discard costs, remnants and things can be pitched. Space-Time Anomaly is an amazing card for a reason and does refill the hand. Drawing to 5 has its uses, don't get me wrong. It's just not something I see being used in most games where the deck is primarily blue. Speaking of her blackness, Charlotte, the true Princess of Ebony, because she's more black than blue in what she synergizes with, she has a life gain skill when she draws cards. 100 per card, which would be a lot between her Enter skill, Space-Time Anomaly, blue being blue, and just drawing. I could easily see 1,000 life points being gained by her skill. Not sure what life gain has to do with blue, but it does have things to do with black, hence my comment, Charlotte, true Shadow Princess of Ebony. Finally, she has another de facto spell on it. This time, for U1, you can pitch to bounce something. U1 is the standard force of will cost for bounce. But here we go again. Remember how Soul Hunt became dead after the first or second turn because you don't want to lose your own board and ran out of things you could pitch? Why not pitch it? Turn it into a bounce spell. Even if you don't flip, because Black Moonbeam exists, and thank God for that, it still becomes you tap something on the ruler side. It's frankly crazy to me that they gave an already great deck type such a fantastic ruler. It's crazy. I can literally change just a few cards in my already established Gil Lapis Black-Blue deck and it'll be better for the most part, especially with Regalia being of little relevance going forward, meaning having Gil Lapis to make space-time collapse due to things won't mean as much. Next up we have Charlotte's Protector. Seems to be a card under the impression that Charlotte needed supporting further to keep hand. Guess they didn't remember Space-Time Anomaly and Necromancy existed for some reason. 5/5 for UU, standard fare, but when it's pitched, you draw a card. I'm not sure it'll be used that much. There are better options for Resonators, better options for pitch cards. Maybe if Lapis Cluster restriction happens and she's locked into blue, maybe, but not in New Frontiers. There are better options. Admittedly, I don't know much about rabbits, so something that is effectively a -1 with filter without Charlotte's Protector and really unnecessary when just trying to get things in the discard doesn't seem that great to me. Hell, even as just a 1-drop water, Alice's Little Scout is the better choice. As I said, I'm not well read on the apparently really good rabbit deck, but as that's white green, why would it want a water rabbit? So let's discuss the change to instants. All spell chants are chants now, and instants are chants with quick cast. I have no real opinion. It's a change. It makes sense, I don't care. Charlotte's water transformation magic, however, is frankly too good. Let's just compare to another card for a second. Dark Purge is black 1 to lower a J resonator by 6/6. 6/6 is a pretty big swing, kills a lot of things or brings them far down into combat range. Granted, it targets J rulers too, but that's beside the point. Compared to water transformation magic, for just you get to change their race so they don't get any field buffs or any other racial buffs from things. Remove all abilities from them, so anything that can't be killed like Golem, fair game. And make it 4/4. Not minus the things down, just straight up 4/4. Oh, and it has remnants. It essentially forces all combat situations to be a victory for whatever side is casting it, so long as they have a 5/5, which isn't a big ask. What? Seriously, what is this? How did this nonsense get through? An automatic victory combat spell for just you, with remnants. As I said, I'm incredibly concerned by a lot of those water cards, and I hope Make Blue Good isn't just Break Blue. Some of the Memoria seems like a slower and cheaper laying the foundation, but it isn't. It's not a bad card, and I could imagine it being great in combo decks, especially since it's cheap to cast. But laying does have the edge over it, and it's not instant versus sorcery speed. Some of the Memoria looks at the top 3 cards and grabs you a card. Laying is a straight 1 increased brainstorm from Magic the Gathering, which draws you 3 cards, then places 2 cards from your hand on the bottom of the deck, meaning it's hand filter too. It doesn't seem like that much, but hand filter is always useful and a part of why Reflect is so good. Guide to the Ice Wall is probably too slow to be of real use, though it does have a lot of potential for abuse. Just think about it. Machina 1, disassembly line into Golem. Bring this guy out, use Magic Conductor's Baton on whatever one of your earlier resonators were. Golem is unblockable, and he can restand. 2 swings per game. Probably too slow, and you'd have to rig up the deck with Pitch to Draw Regalia, just accelerate the deck, and it is susceptible to control, but the possibility for something nasty is there. It's not broken or concerning or anything, it's just something I think we should keep an eye on. Melt to Nothing is Blue's field wipe. Kinda. Everything gets bounced to tap, which is undoubtedly strong, even at UU1, as Blue does draw a lot. Valentina, had she still been viable, because I don't think she'll be viable without Energize, would have loved this with all her UU cost flashing of 2-drop water resonators. But I could see it being used more with anything going wide, clearing the board a turn before it goes all in. I like it. It's not clear cut like the other 2 board wipes, Escape from Adaractica or Flame Trap, but it has a lot of potential to outdo both of them. Finally, from the spores, we have Lumia, sealed in the Frozen Casket, and Lumia, Saint of World Awakening. She's a shift card. At U2, she is a 0/1000 that doesn't do anything. Then she flips for either red, white, and blue resonators happening, conveniently the glorious siblings, mind you, so imply what you want to there, or the cost of red, white, and blue, and 2. You'd probably want to flip regardless, as hard costing the other side is a straight 10 converted will cost, being red, white, and blue, and 7. When she enters the field or shifts, she sets life back to 4000. Sounds like a good skill. I don't see it getting used. Its lowest cost is 8. The cost equivalent Reflect Refrain, the shift one, doesn't see any play. It's too slow. It's too expensive. Doesn't do anything. There are simply better cards to play. Even Lars and Charlotte, as slow and clunky as they are simply more usable. The better shifts aren't even used for the shift mechanic, being Valentina and Alice. They're hard casted from the side you'd want to use. Before we go, there are 2 promos that are quite possibly spoilers for the set or starter decks, as they're technically new, and Frozen does not do promos that are new cards. Lightning Strike should look familiar. It's Thunder. Well, a strictly superior Thunder. I don't have to tell you how good Thunder is. Red staple and all, but this kills Yggdrasil without being taxed. It is strictly superior because it doesn't target. It says it does 500 damage to target J Resonator or deals 500 damage to opponents. Like Adam Brawley, because it doesn't say target, it doesn't, so Excalibur X does not increase costs. Tama tells you who he is with a newly revealed name. Same stats, same race, draw ability is no longer enter, so it's strictly superior there. activate no longer costs will and does 400 instead of 300. Isn't the biggest deal. Kinda amazed it did do less. Again, not much to say. Familiar of Sacred Wind, I think it was called, was already an amazing green card and close to a staple, and it's back. This concerns me though. What else do we see come back in a strictly superior form from Grimm? Elvish Priest that can't be attacked or a 2/4? Unchaseable stoning to death? Heaven forbid Cheshire is better, because we know she's coming back. But why? Throughout this first spoiler day, I kept having this nagging feeling. Charlotte flagrantly disregards, Allison just keeps doing what Alice did to Grimm with Bahamut, Cthulhu, and Alice's World, breaking older cards. Or flat out power creeps in terms of these reimaginings and that disgusting transformation magic. The game rotates. It doesn't need to do this whatsoever. It already forces you to buy new cards. It doesn't need to entice you to do it. All this does is make me very concerned about how the game is developed, not with the prior cluster in mind. We could easily see this result in another shit show and continuous shit shows, forever resulting in formats having to be fixed to being the cluster, prematurely shifted via rotation. I hope I'm overreacting and these cards aren't as powerful as they look and the synergy is actually inferior to, say, Reflect, Refrain or Shion Scry. But I somehow doubt it. It looks like another cluster format waiting to happen to me. I may seem like I'm really down on everything, and I do think I am rightfully concerned. But make no mistake, of the 10 cards shown here, only Lumia probably will see no play, the rest being genuinely good or having some niche uses. If I weren't so concerned about what I saw, I'd say it was a great day for spoilers by far. So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow from the time I'm actually writing this when we get the next slot. Hopefully the video for those spoilers are up earlier than this one. I should be doing both on the same day. This was Some Gamer Dude.